Hello everybody, this is Paige from Mosaic Moments, and today I'm actually going to be showing you our calendar system. So I'm pretty excited to have a ton of examples. And if you're not familiar with the calendar system, it is separate from our scrapbook system, although you could obviously use these in a scrapbook, but the dies are different. There's the calendar pages. If you want to learn more about this system, there will be a link in the top right corner here, and you can go check out the video on how to use this calendar system. So I show a demo in that video, and so you can learn more about that. But today I'm just going to show the samples and what I used and pretty much different ways you can decorate your calendar pages. And some of them are probably going to fly through really quick here, and then some of them I really want to talk about the different things. All right. So here's the first one. If you go watch the demo, this is the calendar I made. And so I just want to point out in the video, I talk about this. So there is not a die that is this length, but I show you how easy it is to cut this long paper. But I really like how if the calendar has a huge space, you're able to show some pattern paper. And here it was February, so if I had one more, I would have been able to have a long strip I could have used with the die that comes in the calendar die set, but I really like this one. I also like to use the numbers dies. That's an easy way to put in the date. I use some of the spaces sometimes to write instead of adding a photo. The calendar system also has this washi tape, so you can, so we didn't want the calendars to always start on Sunday because I'll show you soon, you may not always want your calendar to start on Sunday, so you can start it on any day. And we also sell these months, which I show in the demo as well, so you're going to see some of these. But in some cases I don't use our laser cut months as well. So here's just one layout to get us started, and here we go. So in this case, I did not use the washi tape. I hand wrote each day, and that's just a different look. Or maybe you're not interested in the washi tape, so you can always handwrite it, and I think it looks really nice. Our titles do come in white, but of course, since the calendar pages are in white, you want to make sure there is a background behind your month here. So just so you know, all of our calendar pages are white. We don't sell it in any other color, at least at the time of this recording. So in this case, I usually like to put a photo, like a photo that highlighted the best what the day was about. I mean, a lot of times you have multiple photos in a day. And then in this case, I talked about what happened that week. So if I don't have room to write something every day, I'll use one of the spaces where I didn't need a photo and write about what happened during that week. For the calendar pages, I highly recommend getting some paper, like paper packs that coordinate, and using it. That's what I did here. I did have some colors that were not, that were just solid cardstock that didn't come with the pattern paper pack, but this was from Echo Park. And so I have a couple of papers from the same series. So I highly recommend that. It makes it so much easier to choose your colors and make sure everything is coordinated. You can see this whole calendar was filled up, and it's really important to make sure your colors do coordinate to create the best looking calendar pages. There are so many different colors and pattern papers to choose from, and one easy way to do that is just by picking some pattern paper in a color scheme that fits with the season of that month. I think that's probably a pretty obvious way to go. So in this case, it's fall colors for November. I really like this wood grain paper Jody used. And sometimes you can fill these spaces with other things. So she filled this space with leaves. If you don't have a photo for that day, you can grab some of our little dies, or you can use other embellishments. I'm going to be showing more of that coming up. And so I think this layout looks really nice. All right, here, I think this is the first one that doesn't show a month. Instead, this one shows a week. Now, she did put the month up here, with the month of April, and I really like how she has this pattern paper background and she was able to put in stickers. So another thing I like about the calendar pages is it is very friendly for adding a lot of embellishments and pattern paper. So here she has each day, and you can see with her washi tape, she started the week on Thursday instead of Sunday. And I really like how it doesn't look like she did it every day, but she has kind of like, look, this was spring break, right? And then that happened, and then there was an egg hunt, Easter, and she even added this little flower die and talked about the movie. This is just photos, but talks about nature walk. So this shows some really fun ideas you can do with the calendar pages. So you can do a month or you can do a week, and I really like that. All right, I love what she did up here. She did some fun with matting. She used one of our scallop mats and then added some other layers and used the white laser cut of the month of May. And then a lot of times we like to add the year with the number die sets. And then she added in some flowers. Again, I really like how you can have space for extra pattern paper. And just, some of her dies have stitches. So there is a stitched calendar set. So you can have some of these be stitches. So there's two different sets. There's one set without the stitch, and there is a set with the stitches. So you can have both in your die collection or one or the other. So that's something I want to point out. But again, this is a really fun layout. Very nice coordinating colors. I wanted to show this one because I love how she implemented in our die cuts. So she used the fir tree die set. Again, I like here how the December's in white. She has the red that helps it stand out. And this is from our 2x2 fir tree die. So she left out the 2x2 frame and just used in the tree. But here I really love down here how she used our little 1x1 tree and then put the date. So this is showing a week, not a month, but it's the date of each day with that little tree. I thought that was so clever and so cute, and I like how she added different layers as well to make that tree stand out. It looks so good. I really like how she did this one. And of course, she has some journaling about what that day, the highlight of each of those days. So really, really good one. I really like this one. Here's another nice fall layout. Again, we have the paper, solid paper up here with some leaves, some really fun pattern paper, and she even put the leaves on here. This layout has a lot of really good harmony. I really love how the leaves are going throughout the calendar it just looks really fun to me and it ties everything together. Here's another one. So instead of the laser cut month, Jody used the alphabet dies. This is our alphabet 2, and these would be in our numbers 2 set. She added some snowflakes, and she added these little gems, the gem stickers, which I really love using when I can. And again, there's all this space for pattern paper. So this is obviously the time when, there's no dates for that month, and it started on Friday. So I like being able to fill that up here. And again, she used the snowflake die on a day where there wasn't a photo and has pattern paper throughout it. So again, it's really nice to have coordinating papers. And I think if you do that, your calendar page will look really good. Here's another one that shows the week. Jody decided to leave out the days of the week, which is fine. You can do that as well. And she did at least put in the dates of each day shown on this. And I want to point out, even if you're not into scrapbooking, I think the journaling pages can be fun if you're someone who likes to journal or still wants to keep memories in some way. We look at the calendar pages not just for scrapbooking our memories, but also for journaling. And these pages could be really good for like the beginning of an album or beginning of a new section of your albums. And it's really nice. The calendar pages are nice because I kind of like seeing what happened each day. And so, and the calendar system is really great for vacations. So obviously here they were on a trip and it shows the highlights of that trip. So I love the calendar pages to show kind of what happened each day, and it keeps it more organized You can do that for a regular scrapbook layout too, but I think the calendar system helps you organize it very easily. All right, I wanted to show you this one because there's, as you can see, there are no photos. So there is an option if you're someone who would prefer to not really put photos on here. Maybe it's easier for you, or maybe you just want to write. This is a great way to write and journal about each day. I put in the highlights of what happened that day, but you can even put in other things for that day if you want to. And so the calendars pages are not just limited to photos. You can also just journal about each day. How did you feel? What was the highlight? What was your favorite thing? Maybe you write down some simple memories. So that's what I'm trying to push in this videos. These pages, the calendar pages are not just for scrapbooks, they are for your journaling, memories that you're okay with putting in an album for everyone to see. But here I wanted to talk about, because there are no photos, I did want to decorate it a bit more. So up here I used some pattern paper and I wrote the month up here. So sometimes I do that, I hand write the month if I feel like I don't need it to be like this really big April or title or something. I hand wrote each day of the week again because I felt like it went with the look of the layout and have some pattern paper. So this was a time when, you can see the calendar, the month started on Saturday. So I had all this space to add something. And then these were actually hand cut with scissors. So these are not stickers, but you could have something like stickers or other kind of die cuts to fill in that space. But basically nothing really happened on those days. So I liked adding in the little embellishments to cover that up, or you can cover it up with pattern paper if nothing goes on. I did the same thing here. Add a little title embellishment. So, but yeah, mainly I want to show you this though, because you do not have to use photos on the calendar pages as well. So this one I really like, and I think it's really fun because it's really heavily embellished. Again, a part of the reason why I like the calendar page system is you can embellish them a lot. And so if you're really into embellishments, I recommend checking out our calendar pages. But I was able to use, these are really, really long stickers. So I was able to use these two stickers on here, and this is a sticker. This is also a sticker. I did trim it off with scissors at the edge of here. This was a sticker. I also used multiple pattern papers, so I have the more solid looking pattern paper to write about the week. And then I have another one here, and then here's a couple more. I also put this sticker on there, this like 3D sticker that coordinated. So everything here was, so this brand, it doesn't really make scrapbook supplies anymore. It's Basic Gray. If you've been scrapbooking for a while, remember them. But we hoarded a lot of their stuff because we love it so much. But I really like this one. It's really fun. It's really colorful. So even though you have a white background, in reality, you're going to add all this stuff on there and you are not going to feel like it's boring. That's the reality of it. Here I put in photos. I did not map my photos. I just cut the photo the same measurement as the squares, and then the rest of it, where I didn't need a photo, I put in some journaling or pattern paper. So this is a really fun one. I like this one a lot. All right, here is another idea. I used a laser cut month of June. I added in die cuts. This is from our fishy border, and I even snuck in the year. But I actually took a white pen and drew on the fishes to give them a little more texture. And as you can see, I have pattern paper on the top here and the bottom here. I felt like it was very empty looking. So if you're looking at the top here and it feels empty, I do recommend putting a background behind your month title, or you can just do this and add borders on the very top and very bottom. And we do have a couple of free downloads. So yes, they are free and you can print them over and over again. But one of them is different words. So this one says reunion that you can put on your calendar. I'm going to have another one in a little bit that shows a different word from that same free download. And we also have a free download that has these dates in blue as well. So definitely go check those out. I think I'll put a link in the description below so you can access those. So here she didn't even put in the number 20 because she wanted to fit in her photo, but we get the idea of what the date of this day will be. But it's a great way to put in the date. You can do that for a whole month or for a week. Like in this case, this was highlighting a week. And so each day we have the date and then a description of what we did on a few of those days. And one of the days I just added a little fish to tie in to the top here. All right, here is another one I wanted to show. This is a pattern paper, and you can see how large this design is. And I thought it would be nice to put on top of this layout and then add the title. I put the month and year. Again, I used the washi tape and I started on Tuesday. And each day highlights, a few photos. So we have dies that are different sizes. We have the square. We have some that are a little bit longer. I don't have a really long one on here. But you can fit as many photos as you want in each section, really. So you can fit up to 5 photos if you wanted to, or you could have like a really big photo in one square. In this case, I had the date and some of the information about the day on these little squares. So that's one way you can do it. So you can tell the calendar pages have a lot of flexibility. You can be really creative with them. All right, so here's another fall one. I wanted to show this because on this layout, I use something called Stickles. They're from Tim Holtz. It's kind of like this glue with, it's not like glue, but it's kind of glue, like it's like this liquid stuff with glitter in it. And so I used it to decorate the top here. It was looking kind of plain. So I decided to make my own little fun designs with it. And these are just some stickers. I also did something a little different and wrote the year over a pattern paper, which I don't do a lot. And again, I use the coordinating paper for this part, and this is from Cardabella, and there was paper with these different icons like the pumpkins and the fruit. So I use that paper to place in these squares. And you can see how I have, well, pretty much, every photo on this layout is matted with the square behind it. So we do have the sets that fit the exact measurements of the calendar sizes, and we also have, if you want to mat your photos, we do have the sizes that are a little bit smaller. I believe they are 2 separate sets, so I don't think you get them in the same set. From what I remember, they're 2 separate sets on our website, but just so you know, you do have the option. This is the reason I like to mat the photos sometimes, is because it does add in more color. It also can give you some breathing room between each photograph. Sometimes it can look a bit busy to have the photos just right up next to each other. So this gives them some breathing room. It can feel a little bit more organized, and plus it adds a lot of color, like I mentioned. So this is a really nice one. So I really like that you have the option of either keeping your photos covering that whole square section, or you can mat them and give them more color, more breathing room. All right, this layout shows a week. Something fun that I did for this one is I put in pictures of maps. So you can do that on any scrapbook page, but it's just a fun embellishment idea to kind of show where you were, like on a trip. Again, I used the free downloads of the date of each day and talked about the highlights of that day. Here's the washi tape. And then up here, this was actually, for anyone wondering how I did this, I actually printed this. So I don't know if you could see it, but there's actually another sheet of white paper on top of the calendar page. If you wanted to print out your title, you can print it on white paper and just stick it on. And you can kind of tell in person that there's a layer here, but I think it looks fine overall. This is just a nice, I did this because I just wanted a nice, clean looking title. It was quite a big word. The word Washington is a pretty long word to have to glue down. So this is just another option. I just printed this on 8.5 by 11 white paper, cardstock paper, I should say. I wouldn't probably use regular printing paper. But if you want to get some cardstock and print your titles, that can work as well. All right, we only have a few more left, but I was excited to show you this one. So again, the title, there's this really fun camera pattern paper, and I have a title. So if you're doing a week, I kind of like having a title of like what was that week about with the month and year. I just hand wrote these and then cut the strips out. So it's really important if you're using the calendar pages to have a cutting mat and something like an X-Acto knife or rotary knife to help cut out these things. And down here is where it's really interesting. So I went to this expo, and so I kind of made this kind of like the title of these sections. So this is 3 different days, and this is like, okay, this is where I was all 3 days. And then the next on the middle of the week, I just was exploring Southern California basically. And then here, I wasn't able to find a photo that represented Disneyland. So the castle is partially cut off, but you can see it. I should have known, right? I should have known my own photo tip to take things from further away. So if I had a picture from further away, I could have fit in that castle, but you get the idea. But this tells you all 3 of these days I was at Disneyland having a fun time. So that's just one idea. If you are doing like a week to like kind of have, and you don't even have to use a photo, you could actually use like you could place pattern paper here and then put a title on top of that, or a journaling spot even, to talk about your days of the week. So this is just a fun idea I really wanted to show you. If you're wondering how I did this so for my photos, I use the Photos app that comes on Mac computers. And there is an option to write words on your photo. So this was printed on the photo. So that's how I did the dates for this layout. All right, this one is kind of a minimal layout, so it has some photos, but you can go really simple on these calendar pages if you want to as well. So here I have no mats. My photos were cut a little bit smaller to show the white background because, again, I wanted to give my photos some breathing room. I wanted the layout to feel simple. I was able to fill in this space with, pretty much didn't have anything going on with this sticker. Again, I have these really long stickers on the top and bottom. I was able to fit in this little hedgehog. This is March, so it's sort of springtime. Some areas I wrote down stuff, so you can be very minimal if you want to. This right here is a little bit longer because all 3 days I was in Richmond, and so this is a photo of Richmond I took. You don't even have to cut out all this paper or all these, all these mats. You can keep it really simple if you wanted to. And it still looks really nice. Again, I was able to embellish it so it doesn't feel too boring or bland. So this is why I want to show you guys this, because you can go really simple with your calendar pages. All right, here's another one. This is part of free download I mentioned earlier. The other layout said reunion. This one says moments. So moments is a little more, you can use it for anything basically. So I kept the top simple, so you can always keep this top section simple. I just added the laser cut month. I have the washi tape here. It starts on Wednesday because it shows each day of my trip. And there is enough space here. If you needed some more journaling, you can use this space to, it's kind of like a subtitle. It tells me where I was in these photos. So, but I really like the big letters in here. It kind of breaks up the photos and the journaling a bit more, and it adds some color to the layout. So it's pretty simple, but I really like the little title thing. I feel like it keeps it from being less busy. And I also use this other free download with the dates. So that's kind of what I like about this layout, is it doesn't feel too overwhelmed with photos. There are some things breaking up those photos to make it feel a little bit less intense. This was from when my niece was born. I made this, and so of course I made the title baby. You can do wedding. So if it's a particular event, you can add the title. So you don't even have to necessarily put the month as your title. You can have something else. I did put the month and year because that's important too, but it's more of the subtitle of the bigger title. I also added this really cute pattern paper on the top and bottom of the little dogs. And again, I show each day. I used Doodlebug pattern paper for this one that coordinated. And of course, each day I found these little stickers. So if you want the date to be pretty small, I could have hand wrote it, but I kind of like having the stickers, they stand out a bit more. Here, I didn't have room. And then I added in little stickers that kind of went with the days, and some of the spaces like this one, I put that in just because it was cute and worked with that day, obviously. And here, this was from a pattern paper set, and it had happened to fit perfectly in here. So I decided to use it. It gives some information from when she was born. So this is a really nice layout. I really like it. Again, calendar pages can be really for any special event. I think this is great for a baby because there's a lot going on the week the baby comes. So definitely do this if this is a great thing for a baby album where you can actually give it to someone else for their baby album. All right, this is the last one I just want to show. This is also a really simple idea. If you don't want to talk, if you don't want to add a lot of journaling, each day could just be a photo. So Lauren did decorate it at the top with some stickers. And the first of the month started on this day. So here she just used a filler photo from July, and then every day shows a highlight from that day. So you can totally do this too. You can keep it simple and just show a photo a day. This is a really nice way to look at all your photos from the month. It's like a really awesome month in review. So even though it's simple, I think this is also a fun idea to see what, your photo day, your biggest highlight of the day. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. I really do like the calendar layouts. It's a great month or week in review idea, and you're able to really get creative with these. You can add your photos and pattern paper and stickers or no photos, so you can have a lot of fun with these. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching.